I'm speechless. Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0. I'm speechless. I don't really know what to think. I don't know what I just saw. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Leave the video a quick like while you're here. Helps us find the algorithm, find some new people. Subscribe if you are new. Trying to reach 7k as soon as possible. And yeah, I'd rather rip this one off just like a plaster. This is, when you're watching this, the morning after the night before. And it was not a night that we want to remember. That is now 4 games in a row in the Premier League that we haven't won a game. Which, if I remember rightly from the commentary on the game, I think it's been 6. I think they said 6.5 years since we've been on a winless streak of 4 games. It's not good. It's really not good. And we saw the same issues, but 10 times worse, let's be real. If we look at the streak of not winning in 4 games, 3 draws, if we look, look at them retrospectively, if we look at them in a more positive light, we should have beat Tottenham, we were better than them. We should have beat Liverpool, we were better than them. And we should have held on against Chelsea, because I think it was arguable who was better. But when you go ahead a good 2 or 3 times in the game, we should have held on. But this, completely different. Outclassed, outperformed, outrun, out-tacticked, whatever out you want to say. We got battered. We got battered. We were slapped. There was no deserving of anything. There was no, or maybe we could have got, we couldn't have got anything. We shouldn't have got anything. We didn't get anything. It's embarrassing. It's one of the worst games that we've ever played in the Pep Guardiola era. We were slapped. We just got to hold it. Got to firm it. Might get laughed at. Might get bantered. United won. Liverpool won. Arsenal won in spectacular fashion. When our 6 points behind, Arsenal at the top. United are only 3 points behind us, and they're having an awful season. You just got to hold it. Just got to firm it. Nothing else you can do. I mean, move on to the game, into the performance, and I said in the preview that if he starts the same back 4, I'm going to be worried. As soon as I saw that same back 4, I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. I was like, yeah, John Stones is back. He's played Rico Lewis, which is something I've been asking for, but he's playing the same back 4. Speechless. Absolutely speechless. It's insanity. I was going insane. The game, before it even kicked off, I was being driven to insanity. And then when it did kick off, it was no better. We got peppered. We had 2 shots. In the 11th minute. The 2 Erling Haaland chances, of which I will get to him in a minute. Of course, we don't take any of those. That was the last action we had in the final third. We didn't have a shot after that. Our XG was 0, nil, nada. Nothing. We had nothing. 11 minutes in was our last piece of action. Aston Villa, 22 shots. The most ever against the Pep Guardiola side. Got to have it in front of me. 2 shots are fewest ever by a Pep Guardiola team. 22 shots against was the joint most faced. That's how battered we were. Breaking the wrong records. The lowest amount of shots that a Pep Guardiola side has ever had. 2 shots in 90 minutes. 2. Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. It's fully deserved by Aston Villa. Got to give them credit. I got to say, we've got to hold that and take all the bantering we're going to get. Aston Villa fully deserved it. If it wasn't for Edison, if I'm being real, if it wasn't for Edison, it could have been 5. Should have been 5. They hammered us. They absolutely hammered us. And if it wasn't for him making, okay, some of them were saves that you expected him to make. He had no chance on the goal. It took a massive deflection, but there's a couple of saves he made. Great saves. Should have been 4 or 5-0. That 1-0 is extremely flattering on us, even though it's a loss and we're all angry because we haven't won again in 4 in a row. That 1-0, the only positive really that you can take from that is it wasn't more. We kept it down to 1. We kept the score down. And that's really bad that I'm saying that the only positive is we kept the score down, but that's being real. Wasn't for Edison making saves. No, it could have been more, should have been more. I mean, so I get onto Haaland. I want to touch on the defence first. Only 2 defensive players, I think, that can really hold their head up high. Ruben Diaz, for one. I thought, did everything right. Did everything he was supposed to do. It's not his fault that he's surrounded by a shower of shit. Edison making saves. Again, it's not his fault with the goal. It took a massive deflection off of Ruben Diaz. Again, neither of their two's fault. Ruben Diaz, as a defender, is obviously going to try and get in front of the ball. And once it's taken a deflection, Edison has no chance. But the other 3 in the back line, I don't know what they're playing at. I really don't know what they're playing at. Vardiel, I think he's been a terrific signing. I think he's been really good. Tonight, awful. Awful. Making mistakes that, yes, he recovered, but why is he making the mistake in the first place? Those 3, Akanji, Walker and Gvardiol, were taking it in turns to play through balls to Aston Villa, setting up attacks, putting Edison under pressure. It's woeful, and I said this before the game. I said they've not been playing well. Don't play them. We're forced into making changes. We're forced into playing certain players, like playing Phil Foden off the left. He doesn't want to do that. But we're forced into doing it because of injuries. He's not being forced to pick Akanji. He's not being forced to pick Walker. He's not being forced to pick Gvardiol. He's picking them ahead of Nathan Ake, who, in my opinion, has done no wrong. I don't know what he has to do to start a game. I really don't. If someone could tell me what he has to do, what's the standard, what bar does he have to meet to start a game, I'd appreciate it, because I don't know what he has to do. That one game in this awful, awful, awful run that we've been on, the Liverpool game, was the only match in this period, these last 5 games, that Nathan Ake has started. And it's probably the best we've defended. That and the second half against Leipzig, of which Nathan Ake was brought on at half-time. It's probably the best we've defended. Not all season, but in this run. And Nathan Ake sat on the bench, twiddling his thumbs, waiting for an opportunity. This guy last season was immense. He quietened Saka. Amazing in those Champions League ties. But now, he can't get a game, even when there's players performing poorly. Akanji in that John Stones role, terrible. Absolutely terrible. He can't do it. Passenger. Non-existent. I don't want to see him play again. This weekend, I don't want to see him. Same thing with Kyle Walker. Don't want to see Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker, nothing against him, but he makes us worse. If we're being real, he makes us worse. He's not good on the ball. He's not good going forward. Yeah, he's great when you've got a specialist situation where you've got an Mbappe or a Vinicius or someone of that calibre. But those are few and far between. Those opportunities for him to play those sort of games don't come around often. When you've got your Aston Villas away, when you've got your Luton away coming up, your Tottenhams in the Premier League, these Premier League games where you don't have these specialist situations, he's not very good. And why he's the captain, I'll never know. Yeah, he's a senior player. Yeah, he's probably viewed as more of a leader. But why he's the club captain, and this is the guy we're relying on, I don't know. I really don't know. We've got issues. Real big issues. And they need fixing. I mean, I can't think of any better man to fix them than Pep, but you can blame the players all you want, but I'm now reaching the point of where, these last 5 games, he's been picking the same players that just haven't been working in the same roles, same positions. I'm kind of stopping blaming the players. Yeah, I'll criticise them because they play poorly and they can't do it, but I feel sorry for Akanji being asked to play that John Stones role. He's clearly not good at it. Same thing with Walker. I feel sorry when he's told to push on because he's not very good at it. But the manager's picking them and telling them to play that way. So it's now become an issue as to where, if he does it again, if, this team that played today, or it's a similar team that's on, I think it's Sunday with Luton, I'm not going to dig into the players anymore. I'm not going to do it. If he plays the same team and they play poorly, it's Pep's fault. If he can't see they're playing poorly, I don't know what he's watching. And then I said I'd get onto Haaland. I mean, yeah, I don't blame him at all today. I really don't. He had nothing going for him. We had 2 shots. We didn't create anything. We couldn't get a foothold in the game. But I think if this was last season, he's putting one of those chances he has in the back of the net. He's putting one away. And then we have something to fight for. We have something to hold on for. Maybe we get a point. Undeserved point, but maybe we get a point. But he didn't score them. But again, I don't blame him. Feeding off scraps, he had nothing. Nothing going for him because we couldn't get a foothold in the game. Yeah. I don't really know where to go. Are we at the title race? You can never say never. You can't write this team off. It'd be silly for anyone to write this team off. But I can't help but think we're close. We're very close to being out of it. I don't want to say we are yet because it's still rectifiable. We could still change things, change the way we're playing, change some personnel and get some better results, build a run maybe. But we're 6 points behind Arsenal. They've already played us and beat us. They're able to grind out these, horrible 1-goal wins. 4-3 against Luton. Backs up against the wall. Luton playing really well. Crowd up for it. Last minute winner. We can't do that. We've scored 2 late goals against Tottenham, against Chelsea. We capitulated. Drawn the game. Dropped points. Same thing with Liverpool. We've been leading for a long time. Conceded a late goal. It's not the same team as it was just a few months ago at the end of last season, when we were able to hold out for these 1-goal wins. That's what Arsenal are doing. We can't do that, seemingly. We've just lost the ability to do that. So I don't know where Arsenal are next going to drop points. Because they're able to just grind out these wins, and we can't. We just can't do it. And then you look at, we're going to be in Saudi Arabia, Club World Cup. So we're going to have games in hand, so we're going to be even more points behind. Could be 9, 10, 12 points behind after the Club World Cup with a couple of games in hand. And then you're really staring down the barrel of it's close to over. So I don't know, is it over? You tell me. I'm saying it's not. I'm saying the situation is rectifiable. It can change. You let me know in the comments. You think it's over? I can understand where you're coming from if you do think it's over. But, yeah. Therapy session, I suppose. We've got no one to blame but ourselves for this one. There was no ounce of refereeing or any sort of individual player performances. It was, as a collective, it was awful. Bar a couple, as I said, Ruben Diaz and Edison, I think can hold their heads up high and go, well, they tried. As for the rest of them, nothing to shout about. If you like the video on your way out, really help us out, find the algorithm, find some new faces to come and join the community. And if you are new around here, please remember to subscribe and click that bell icon so you don't miss whenever I decide to upload a video. Thanks for watching. I'll now be back for Luton if I can be bothered.